Greetings, folks. Dice Kitty back again with another guest, and this one is super special. This is Mr. Lin Workman, and he has worked on tons of comics and even some cards,
yes.
Right?
Yes, I've done sketch card work for Topps and Bragent and Viceroy and some that I'm forgetting right now.
Oh, it's been
a lot
long
for
day.
Topps, a lot of Star Wars and Mars Attacks and that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah, see, that's super cool. I know there's a lot of Star Wars fans who, watch some of this stuff, so they'll be like, oh my God, it's Lin Workman.
Well, what's fun about some of the Star Wars cards was that, I guess it was the second or third, I'm talking to my wife over there, it was like, she's directing us now, it was like the second or third set we did, they had sketchographs, which were the sketch cards, but they had actors sign them. And so we would do their portrait or their character or whatever on them.
Yeah.
And I got some like Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, and I'm like, do I really have to send these back? I mean, they could have got lost in the mail. They don't know. But it was really, I think I would have been a lot less nervous if I did the sketch first and then they sent them and had them sign it.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm just like, oh, can't mess this up, And it's not like, I love Mark Hamill, but he is not the easiest person to draw.
Oh.
And I asked Adam Hughes about it one time. He goes, oh, yeah, I know.
Oh, well, I mean, from what I've seen of your work, you do just fine.
Thank you.
And you had some comics today that you were giving to folks, and that was Bushy Tales,
Bushy
right?
Tales, yes.
And the artwork in that is gorgeous. If you can find it, pick them up. They're well worth it.
There's plenty in my garage. Come on by.
So, what other books would people recognize that you've worked on?
Well, the Bushy Tales was a self-published comic that we did with my buddy Dave Beatty and his wife Micah Stewart, and we went through Diamond and all that, but we got to a point where Dave started getting work from Marvel and DC and other companies. And so it got to where it's like, well, the paycheck, and you're working on Batman, you're working on Wonder Woman, it's you got to do it. So we kind of got pushed to the back burner for a long time.
I got you.
And like we were talking about earlier, like when you self-publish, you look at the different price points on your publishing, on your printing, and you're like, ooh, we could get 1,000 comics, yay! But ooh, if we get 2,500 of them, the price drops this much, and if we get 5,000 of them, oh my gosh, it's like even less. It's half that. So we're making twice as much money. Well, that's great, but you got twice as many books sitting in your garage. 5-10 years later. So that's. I was cleaning out the garage the other day, and it was kind of like, you know what? It's like we'll do like a free comic book day early. I'll bring some of the extra stash that we have in the thing, and give out comics.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was super nice of you to do,
Thank you.
To the people here in Dyersburg. So I know anyone who got them appreciated it. I know I did, and he scribbled on them for me. So
I scribble a lot. But the other comics I've done, like I worked on Star Gods, which Dean Zachary that was here at the show, and Jim Hall was part of the project at the beginning. He did some of the character designs. And then he left that. It was about the same time he was working on like Silver Surfer and Fantastic Four, stuff like that back then. I think it was before his Dark Horse stuff hit. But we're working with him and my buddy Dave Beatty, and that I did Bushy Tales with, and Scott Clark. He used to work for Image, and he was like one of Jim Lee's underlings for a while, and then he got to work and stuff like that. But I did that. My first comic book I ever worked on. I did a page in Planet of the Apes annual #1, and my buddy Greg Cravens, who is he's a cartoonist and does a webcomic called Hubris, and he does a syndicated strip called The Buckets. Well, he was doing this, and if you're an artist and you've had to hit deadlines, you know about this sort of thing, because I've ghosted on Marvel and DC stuff before.
Yeah.
Where my buddy Dave will call me up and say, hey, they pushed the deadline up on me, can you help me out? And either it's just flatting blacks or doing color flats or that sort of thing, so they can meet the deadline. But Greg was running late, and he had to and this is showing you my age. Back when we used what we called Zipatone. If you don't know what Zipatone is, it's these little dots that came on sheets, and you had to cut them out and stick them on the comic pages. and they were like different tones and different textures, and
Yeah.
that's how you got your halftone, your shading. And he called a bunch of us up, and because we didn't have smartphones, he couldn't text me.
Right.
That's how long it's been. But he called us up and said, "Hey, look, I need help, finishing these pages. If you guys will help me, I'll get beer and pizza." And and so we had like this inking party. And as soon as he would get finished inking a page, he would literally like zip it across the room to us,
nice.
and we'd catch it and then put it down and then start cutting the zipatone. So that was my first comic. But a lot of the DC Marvel stuff, you'll never know that I did them just because it was a ghosting type thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did that. I've done a couple of anthologies for the Memphis stuff, but like I said, most of my art's the sketch cards.
Yeah. Well, they're amazing though.
Well,
like
thank
I
you.
said, and I love going back to the Bushy Tales. I was flipping through them and trying to read them while in the middle of working, and they're amazing.
Well,
and
thank you.
I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm stuttering or slurring, but boy, it's been a long day.
It has.
This is after the
Yeah,
con. This
yeah.
is the after show, guys. But well, Mr. Lin, thank you for being here.
Well, thanks for having me. And it's been fun. Thanks to Alvin and the Dyersburg Comic and Pop Culture Con.
Yeah.
Very long. It makes it sound so regal.
Yeah.
But it was
That's not the word I was going to use.
Okay.
Hopefully he'll shorten it a little bit.
It's a little tongue twister there, especially after the show.
Yes.
Before the show, not too bad.
That's
After
why
the
I'm
show,
glad you said it and not me.
Yeah, but we had a great turnout, and it's like I was telling you earlier. I had somebody stop by my table and they go, "I didn't know there's this many comic fans in Dyersburg." And I go, "Yeah, it was a good show, good turnout. We did well." And like I said, I'll be back again, but it'll be as a fan. Nothing against comic cons and stuff like that, but I'm just kind of I miss going and experiencing shows and talking to other people, and it's like, unless I get my wife goes with me to the shows now a lot, but before it's like if you didn't make friends with your booth neighbor, man, you better hope you don't have to go to the bathroom. So these days, I get to like run to the bathroom, but I can actually kind of worm my way back through the room and say hi to people. But it's very much, hey,
different.
how you doing? But,
it's very different.
And I don't get to shop. And the good thing about the Comic Cons when we do them is if we make money, that's our play money.
Yeah,
we get to spend it at the show.
I understand that.
Because I was asking Nicki, I'm like, how much we made? Yeah, we did this much. All right, how much is that Captain Marvel pop you wanted? All right, we can cover that now. We're good.
Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. So thank you again for being here. And folks, thank you for watching. And do you have any social media pages you would like to plug?
Yeah, sure. You can find me on Instagram or Facebook like you did. Apparently I'm easy to track down.
I got lucky.
Good security on that. But I'm again Facebook and Twitter. You can find me at Lin Workman, not worker like the poster says.
Shame, Alvin.
Thanks, Alvin. I've known you for years. I'm gonna start calling him Bob or something from now on. But it's just Lin Workman. And you can find me Lin Workman Art on Instagram.
Yeah, so go make sure.
And HaveGeekWillTravel.com is my geek travel blog.
Okay.
And I'll be doing a write-up about this con
Awesome.
and all that on it.
Yeah, make sure you guys go and give his social media pages a like, a follow, and please be sure you do that. If you don't, I'll be ashamed of you. So, but
I won't know.
Yeah, I will.
She has that power.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Live long and prosper, and glory to the Empire. Kapla!
Nanu.